Coney Island, Hillwell Avenue bound F local train. The next stop is Ditmas Avenue.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
This is infrared, and we're walking in the Kensington neighborhood of Brooklyn so that you don't have to. It's Wednesday, March 30th, about 2:30 in the afternoon. Temperatures have been climbing for the last 24 hours, and right now it feels outside when we get there like the low 40s. This is a stop on the F and the G, and it's the end of the line for the G, or the beginning, depending on your philosophy. This is looking south on McDonald Avenue. We just exited at Church Avenue. You can see in the distance that the F train goes from being underground to becoming elevated. It remains elevated all the way to the end of the line at Coney Island, about 5 miles away. But we're not going towards Coney Island. First, with the warm weather arriving, because it is March 30th and fairly mild temperatures in the low 40s, the road construction season has resumed. Road repair, road resurfacing. This is also a good time of year for water main breaks, meaning this is a time of year when there are many of them. After the winter freeze. We're walking east on Church Avenue, and here's the beginning of Beverly Road. And at the corner, Carnival Market, open 24/7 as the sign says. Been here for a long time. It was the subject of a profile in the Sunday Times about 10 years ago. Having been a patron of the Mexican truck across the street, I can recommend it. there's more than Mexican. Looking south on East 4th Street and continuing to walk east on Beverly Road. So we recently crossed East 3rd Street, and the system of numbering the north-south streets, of which East 3rd Street is one, is interrupted here by Ocean Parkway. Ocean Parkway, I think, and I have to check the power broker on this, was, well, of course, it preceded Robert Moses, but there is some reference in the power broker. This is looking at the combined, I should say the separated bike and pedestrian paths on this side of Ocean Parkway. Speed camera. And this side of Ocean Parkway, we're looking south, is for pedestrians only, but you will see the occasional to frequent bicycle. The Ocean Parkway pathways continue all the way south to Coney Island, and further north they end at the southeast entrance to Prospect Park. So south all the way to Coney Island, north all the way to Prospect Park. Looking north on East 7th Street. Just noted that park taxi because in other times, this being almost 3 o'clock on a weekday afternoon, on a Wednesday afternoon, would be a time for taxis to be out generating revenue. As we walk east, every 5 blocks there will be a named street instead of a numbered street. So this would be East 10th Street, but instead it's Coney Island Avenue. Oh look, it appears we're crossing the street the same time as school is let out. Because we not only have a crossing guard, we have a school safety agent that we just passed.
Okay. Bag.
You can see from the brown street name sign and these entry posts designating Prospect Park South, which is a designated historic district. So the exteriors of all of these houses are protected by the Landmarks Preservation Law. There is a separate walk that walks through more of the historic district of Prospect Park South. And even though houses on this side of the street are just outside the historic district, they're magnificent nonetheless. Again, historic district. Not historic district. Historic district. And not. And let's get a look at some of these houses still in the historic district. Here I think we have the last cross street in the historic district, Marlborough Road. Hey, goodbye Prospect Park South. And here we're passing over the tracks of the B and the Q train for the local stop at Beverly Road. So, let's cross the street, but let's cross it safely. We're at the corner of Marlborough and Beverly Road. Marlborough Road and Beverly Road. Waiting for the light. Waiting. So we're approaching the entrance to the Beverly Road station on the B and the Q. This is the Brighton line, and this part of it is in an open cut. So the tracks below, and it remains in an open cut for a few more stations. Until it rises to an elevated embankment. Now, let's see if we can see from here. In the distance, you see a red peak roof structure that looks like the exterior of the Beverly Road station. That's the Cortelyou Road station, and it's the only instance, I believe, in the entire transit system or the entire subway system where there are two consecutive stations just one block apart, because Cortelyou is just one block south of Beverly Road. So, let's get oriented. We will continue walking east on Beverly Road. And you can see now that we're out of the Prospect Park South Historic District, the scale of the houses on the south side and north side, on the north side, how did I screw that one up, and south side is of a much larger scale than the neighborhood we just walked through. We're at Beverly Road and East 17th Street. Here's PS 245. So it's a public school, but there's a cross at the top of the building. So this is one of many New York City public schools that were located or are now located in former parochial school buildings, and for various reasons, when the parochial schools decide to close, if the buildings are suitable in an area where the public school system needs to provide additional seats, the city will often offer to buy or long-term lease a former parochial school in order to build out additional public school space. Don't know if the school was associated with the church, and I can't see what church that is. Pretty informative, huh? We've got Beverly Hall. And here we've got Beverly Manor. Same developer. Well, okay, so the naming scheme kind of falls apart here. For a minute, I thought we were in St. Louis. And this is Ocean Avenue, which is the equivalent of East 20th Street. Looking north on Ocean Avenue and looking south. We're continuing to walk east on Beverly Road. Catering to the church crowd. Oh, this is also 3K Center. Our next intersection is Flatbush Avenue, a main thoroughfare that runs diagonally across a lot of Brooklyn, beginning with the Manhattan Bridge, touching down in Brooklyn, and ending all the way on the Jamaica Bay waterfront. So, and Flatbush Avenue assumes many forms and goes through many different neighborhoods. It's a main artery through downtown Brooklyn, and it's skyscrapers. But we'll wait for the light to change. No, okay. Take advantage of it. This is looking south on Flatbush Avenue. Eventually heading. Take it far enough south, you can drive straight away to the Rockaways. And here we're approaching, as soon as we emerge from the sidewalk shed, the King's Theater, which formerly, I think we can see, still showing from the building facade, Lowe's running vertically, and King's Theater. So my guess is when this was restored several years ago, because it had been lying vacant and dormant for many years, that was part of the restoration process. It didn't actually linger from the original facade, but I don't know. That's just my uninformed theory. Hear plugs for this every day on NPR. So we can't take you inside right now, but I mean, you can tell just from the ceiling of the marquee, this was one of many Lowe's movie palaces of the 20s and 30s. I'm not sure when this was built, but it's easy enough to find out. All right, let's make one more stop. We're heading north by northwest on Flatbush Avenue. East of here, which we'll see in a few minutes because we will walk east of here, is kind of the dividing line between two neighborhoods, Little Caribbean and Little Haiti. As you can see by the typical Caribbean food offered for sale across the street. competing chicken chains. Here we're approaching the Erasmus Hall campus. It's a multi-school, public school campus, formerly just known as Erasmus Hall High School. And while this building is impressive and dates back to I don't know when, but it's easily searchable. Well, here we go. 1904. What may be even more interesting is the building within the building. Hope you can see that in the background. The exterior of this building has really been very much renovated sometime in the last couple of years, because the last time I walked past it, it was so visibly deteriorated. Let's just see if we can get a better view in the background. It's really hard to know with the difference in lighting here if we're capturing it adequately. I don't know about the condition of the interior. There was demand from preservationists and community members to preserve, at the very least, that original building, and to upgrade it so that if it's no longer suitable as a school, it could be used as some kind of community center. And here we have the Reformed Protestant Dutch Church of Flatbush. And we're back at Church Avenue. So I don't know if Church Avenue was named after this church. Just checking. The clock is correct. That's reassuring, or, you know, within a reasonable tolerance. Anyway, that's part of the homework I have to do. Alright, let's get a little sample of the food available here. Back on Church Avenue. This building across the street looks like a former theater. There's no clue. An IHOP in the middle of Flatbush. Let's get a look at this post office building across the street. Flatbush Station. Here's the back of Erasmus Hall on Bedford Avenue. It's March 30th and gas prices here start at $4.15. Just looking at the Spanish tile style roof here. Don't know what this is or was. A church? Welcome. Let's go down Rogers Avenue. I should have mentioned, among the people who graduated from Erasmus Hall High School are Barbara Streisand. Still, the back of Erasmus Hall. The B44 bus, which just passed us, is going northbound on Rogers and will eventually go to the Williamsburg Bridge Plaza, where many Brooklyn bus routes converge and where you have a transfer to the Marcy Avenue station on the J and the M. I should say the JZ and the M. Well, I'm not sure about the Z, actually. And here we are catching up with Tilden Avenue again. So we've been walking south on Rogers Avenue, and we're going to turn left and go east on Tilden for a bit. looking south on Rogers. I guess good news if you're driving on Rogers Avenue. The green lights are long. End of the shift. And we're approaching Nostrand Avenue, a major southbound avenue that goes all the way to Sheepshead Bay, basically all the way to the ocean. And Nostrand Avenue also goes past Brooklyn College at the intersection of Nostrand and Flatbush Avenues, which is also known as the Junction. Hey, there's no walk sign. Someone call 311. Whoops. Outdoor dining. And a community office for State Senator Kevin Parker. So I'm not sure I'd want to have a driving school named Dune. Just get a load of the pink house. I'm not going to make that. All right. We're approaching New York Avenue. And we'll wait to cross. There's a very large school building. New York Avenue, looking south and north.
Female.
Now we're approaching Brooklyn Avenue, having recently crossed New York Avenue. And here we have across the street the gate to Holy Cross Cemetery, which I've never been to and didn't even know was here. So it appears to be open, and we're going to check it out. A very kind and helpful gentleman just inside the main cemetery gate at Tilden Avenue requested that we not take any photos in the cemetery, and we honored that. So we walked through the cemetery and exited at, I think, the only other gate they have at Snyder Avenue and Albany Avenue. So for those of you who haven't actually been able to visit Albany, and I know many of you have wanted to, well, here's Albany Avenue, your second choice. Some fire department support vehicle in a hurry. No jokes about where's the fire. We're walking north on Albany Avenue. We're going to continue walking north for a few blocks. Church Avenue, once again, looking west and east, sort of. A charter school, part of the Ascend network. Linden Boulevard. You wouldn't know it from here, but in a mile or so, this turns into a 6-lane divided roadway. It's still a boulevard with traffic lights every intersection, but it's one of the ways to get from this area to JFK Airport by car, not by public transportation along here. There is none for this stretch. We're coming near the end of this walk, but since we made it this far, we would be remiss if we didn't show Kingstown County Hospital Complex. I don't know if this is part of the complex, providing housing for staff.
Bus is turning. Caution, bus is turning. Caution, bus is turning.
Is the bus turning? Kings County Hospital is one of the units of the city's public hospital system, the New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation, or Health and Hospitals, or H&H, and you can see it's quite a big campus. The buildings range from fairly modern to very old, and very Hitchcockian, which we'll see in a minute. And then let's just go back across the street briefly, because there appears to be a new playground. Interestingly, at the intersection with the playground, there's no marked crosswalk. So I don't know if they're expecting only risk-seeking adults to want to go to this playground. Let's cross. You know spring is here. Marino's Ices and Mr. Softy. Just showing the parking garage. The very huge sign for parking. And this playground. Is the playground open? I wonder if that's a school in back, and this playground is part of the school. All right. So, again, we're crossing the street back towards Kings County Hospital Center. One of the biggest units of the city's hospital system, and a major trauma center. Those needing trauma surgery, emergency trauma surgery in this area of Brooklyn, including or especially police who are injured, are taken here, usually either to here or to NYU Langone's Sunset Park Medical Center, which used to be Lutheran Medical Center, which before Lutheran occupied it used to be a factory of some kind.
Hello, cost me $1.
Well, I guess it's worth noting the food choices just across from the emergency entrance to Kings County.
Sir, give me, sir, do you have $1?
And even more food choices across the street. 30 years ago, approximately, was the last time I walked this area. There were no food options across the street at all. And it only took 30 years. Now, crossing briefly. So, when I said before, as we were first approaching the hospital, that some of the buildings are modern and some of the buildings are Hitchcockian, well, this is an example of the latter. Yeah. Is there anyone occupying that room at the top of the peak? Now, as if this one major medical center were not enough, across the street we have the campus of SUNY's, State University of New York's Downstate Medical Center, which I believe is now called the University Hospital of Brooklyn. So this is one of two medical center campuses that are part of the state university system. The other one being Upstate Medical Center, which may be called Upstate Medical University now, I'm not sure, in Syracuse. So again, the SUNY Downstate Medical University. And Kings County Medical Center. So, it would appear that this building was built in 1931. And in contrast to these 90-year-old buildings here, across the street at the State University Hospital, State Medical University, whatever it's called. And the State University again. One last look at SUNY Downstate. I think that's its old name. Legacy lettering. Hello. How long does it take an ambulance to get through? So, a playground with restrooms. Restrooms appear to be open. Excellent. Gas starting at $4.19. Earlier on the walk today, we saw gas for $4.15, I think. And I don't know what's going on here in this building of Kings County Hospital, but you can see like entire floors worth of windows are replaced by plywood. Some of the windows are intact. And we have a sanitation garage here. Not even sure I knew this was here. I think this is the sanitation garage for Brooklyn Community Board 12. I would say this was built in the early 30s. Here, a different view of the Kings County Hospital Center with the smokestacks in the background. Don't know what those are or were used for. Someone who works at sanitation driving a BMW, so they must be paid okay, making a living wage. So on this walk, we started at Church Avenue on the F and the G. We walked a little bit along Church Avenue every now and then. We walked through the cemetery, and originally I wanted to end at the Church Avenue stop on the 2 train, which is coming up, well, not very soon, because we would have to get to the next cross street and then walk maybe a third of a mile south. So we're going to take a much closer number 2 station, which is, or hopefully is, at the next intersection. And I know that, not because it's closer, but because I know a lot of you who are watching have wanted to visit the Windsor Avenue station of the number 2 for years. Who wouldn't? So again, we're at the corner of Winthrop and Nostrand. Remember, this has been church to church, sort of, with a cemetery and 2 hospitals in between. This is infrared, and this is what you've been watching.
Hello everyone. 2 and 3 trains will skip Clark Street in both directions until April 2022. As an alternative, use nearby Borough Station on the 2, 3, 4, or 5, High Street on the A and C, or Court Street on the R. There is Manhattan bound. There is train to station branch.